I'm Lori, and I'm a patient of Dr. Haddock's. Dr. Haddock did a really amazing job on reconstructing my breasts after a double mastectomy that I had following a breast cancer diagnosis. He was absolutely wonderful to work with. I actually met him very early on in the process. My story is a little bit different. I was getting ready to move to Dallas from Houston when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, like 2 to 3 days right before we were getting ready to move. So really blindsided us, and had some contacts that set us up with Dr. Haddock up here, and just really grounded, walked us through the process on what our options were, my options were. Just really easy to talk to, and his team's wonderful with being able to answer any questions like that I had on my chart, and they communicated through both like the radiation and prior to the surgery, because with the radiation treatment you have to also prepare your skin for the surgery as well. So they were just really involved in my entire process, even though they were really at the end of the story. I had had breast implants before, and I had texturized breast implants that were associated with a lymphedema, I believe. And I was going to see my plastic surgeon just to make sure they were all looking good still. And he was actually the one that found the lump in my breast and identified the breast cancer. And so he really knew that I did not want to have implants, because I thought, I'm not going to do this again. And so he said the only other surgeon he knew that would be able to do as good of a job as he would do was Dr. Haddock, and he connected me with Dr. Haddock, and I truly feel blessed for that relationship and being able to be connected to him. You know, I feel like everybody's journey is their own. I personally would not look on the internet, because I feel like people put things on there sometimes when it's really good, but also to say negative things. And I just thought, you know what, this is going to be my experience, and I don't want to be influenced by others or know what their experience is. And so I would just really encourage someone to listen to their own gut and what they feel is the right thing to do for them. And, you know, reach out to people as you need. Obviously, you get the most information from your doctors directly and not Dr. Google. There was no family history. There was no reason why I should have had breast cancer, but I did. And there's a lot of women, same story. There's really no reason anybody should have cancer. And so I just didn't want to get caught in the negativity and the doom and gloom, because I knew I was going to be okay. I knew that in my gut, and I was sticking with that. And I wanted to get this reconstruction surgery in a way that I wouldn't need to come back. You know, like, this is with implants, I understand those need to be revised every 10 to 15 years. I mean, I'm free as a bird now. I'm through all of this, and I just come for the follow-ups. And I really just think, what is it that you want going forward? What is going to fit your life and what you'd like to see happen for you, because you do have voice in that. You luckily get 6 months between radiation and when this surgery is done. And even though I was ready just to have it all behind me, I'm glad that I had that time to recover, because I knew the recovery from this surgery was also going to be a pretty intense one. And it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Definitely getting that reclining chair that can push you up and down, just because like you really can't bend. I was so ready to be better and have this behind me that I probably didn't fully listen to my body and would take the dog for a walk. I mean, I didn't do any bending or whatnot. And I don't know if it contributed to it or not, but ultimately I did get an infection in my back. Dr. Haddock and his residents were amazing. The minute I said I had a fever, they told me to go to the ER, and they made it known that I probably wasn't going to come home that night. I have a fever, more than likely I'm going to need antibiotics, and I was going to need to stay in the hospital for a couple days. That was the absolute last thing I wanted to happen, because I was really over it all. But they were completely wonderful, and they knew how bad I wanted to get home, and as soon as I was ready to safely go home, I went home. And you know, infection's a risk, and you think, can't mess around with infection, but they were on it, and you know, they teach you the signs to look for. They're very good with the communication on it. And after that, it was just smooth sailing going forward. So I had a double mastectomy before I had chemotherapy, and at that point they put in the expanders. They just didn't look very natural. Like, I would see ripples and things in them, but you could go along with your life and not really worry about it or think about it much. I had no issues with those. So I had a LAP and a PAP because the vasculature was taken from my back, as well as the love handles that I didn't think I had, but now I really don't have them. And then the top of my thighs as well. And then, the reconstruction's done, and I think it was a 10 or 12-hour surgery. My husband was a little surprised at the length of it, but obviously I was out. I didn't know what was going on. The recovery was pretty good. There wasn't a lot of pain. I really didn't need pain medication for very long after it. 2 or 3 months later, they go back in and do a revision. But one of the things when I got the revision, Dr. Haddock knew that I really wanted to get skiing again. And he said, yeah, you should be able to go skiing. You might be a little tired. I wasn't tired at all. I think he's an excellent surgeon. I don't know if it's a testament to my health as well, but I bounced back from all of this stuff very quickly. I really did go through it with very little complication or heartache or frustration. I am immensely grateful. I feel like my body looks better than it had even before all of this. Molly was wonderful. All of Dr. Haddock's residents, they're all great. And Molly always responded to my messages and was very helpful. Great staff. I just really think he's a great surgeon, and I think he really cares. He probably sees people in all different stages of what they're going through, and I never felt rushed. I never felt like I wasn't being heard. I mean, they knew that it was really hard. My daughter was 10 when I was, sorry. It was tough. They know that there's a lot on your heart and mind, and they don't rush you through it. They know. And I really felt like they cared. And it wasn't just like, it was a genuine care. And even to this day, when I see them, it's like, they're so happy that I'm doing well. So I'm really thankful. And that's why I wanted to do this, because I am so grateful.